All right. So we are live-ish now-ish. Live-ish now-ish. Yeah. I'm just. Yeah. We are live now. Okay. Just making
Cool.
sure. Um. Okay. Well. Hello to those of you who are either in the Discord or on Twitch right now. It's very convenient that my viewer list is broken and is just glitching out and showing no one when there's people here, but whatever. So hello, this is my good friend in the flesh. I
Is me.
probably should have thought out a better introduction now that I think about it. Whoops. Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna be doing this for like the next hour ish or so, and then afterwards I have to head off, but in the flesh, I believe you said you were going to be doing answering some questions and just talking to people in the AMA questions channel on the Discord, right?
Yeah, if anyone wants to hang around and talk, I'll be here.
Yes. Okay. I don't know how long you're going to be around for that.
Maybe an hour or two.
All right, that's actually great. Yeah, 'cause I have class, but unfortunately I have to miss that. But there will be other moderators and everything around if you or anyone in the channel needs help or would like to hit you up, they can do that. But anyway, so we're gonna be covering some various topics today in our next hour. So we got some like good questions. I was really surprised. I was telling you this before, but yeah, really surprised by like the amount of good questions we got. And because at first we got a lot of memes and everything. I was kind of like, oh no, but
Yeah.
but yeah yeah, we were talking about that, but now we have like a good collection of nice questions. So we're gonna start off with some like I guess more your personal life questions, not too personal, but personal-ish. Not like what kind of shampoo and conditioner you use, but yeah,
Yeah.
not.
My shampoo monologue will not be used this time.
I mean, if you want to, if we can fit that in at the end, we can do that. Who knows? But yeah, so we're gonna start off with like not Battlerite related questions that are good questions, and then we're gonna go into Battlerite questions, free to play, and bans and that commentating and that kind of stuff. And then towards the end, we're gonna go to the not Battlerite related questions that are also maybe a little bit less relevant to your life. Like for example, who let's see. How quickly can you speak? That's. I guess that's I guess that's relevant, yeah, as a commentator. Or how do you like Jade after the visual update? That kind of stuff, or that the less important questions. So I believe I've rambled on long enough to give people a fair few minutes to filter in here. If you guys can't catch the whole thing live, we will be uploading it afterwards somewhere on YouTube, so you can see that. And if you would like to follow In the Flesh on Twitter or Twitch, his addresses are there. Handles are there. And then if you want to go join the Discord for the discussion afterwards, that link is also there. Okay. So the first question is from SZ Praku. Spraku. I'm sure. Let me just also give a warning here. If your name is a little bit wacky, I'm definitely gonna mess it up really badly. So, oh well. From SZ Praku, who says, "Who are you, and why should I ask a question?"
Well, I'm in the flesh. My actual name is Joseph, if you're curious about that. And you should ask me a question if you're interested in battle rights. I have a very unique take on the game, as I've been involved in casting for 3 months. And before that, I was a top level competitive player. And I think I have a pretty unique view on the game and the community because of those reasons. Because I've been around for so long, I have a good understanding of everybody that plays, and like I know them all as people. I think I have a couple pretty interesting takes on the scene as a whole.
Yeah, that's pretty good. This pretty much sums you up. And you play primarily Jade.
Yes, I was known back in my heyday as being a Jade player. I spammed a lot of Jade games, prized, prided myself on being the best Jade around, and up until I quit playing, that was kind of who I was. I was kind of the Jade main of North America.
And until I came along, of course, you know.
Yeah, until Break came and stole my title.
Yes. Of course, I'm the resident best Jade in the world. So, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. Because I feel like with a lot of the commentators for maybe not even this game, but a lot of other games, they aren't necessarily top players because you don't really get that combination of people who are good at the game and then also good at talking. Because I know certain top players in various communities, they have either tried commentating or
Uh-huh.
maybe do commentate and they're not good at it. So
Right. Yeah, there's a couple that are really good, and they're actually one of the major reasons I wanted to move into commentating. Like for example, in Dota 2, there's a player named Cinderin
hmm
who played on a he's a player that played at the international many times, and he eventually moved to commentating. And I liked his commentary so much, I kind of like watched his commentating and used it as the groundwork for how I wanted to commentate. So like the commentators that were professional players in other games, I always thought were the best. So I thought it would be a natural fit for me to move into commentating in Battlerite.
right, of course. Because I mean, how are you supposed to talk about the game if you aren't good at it? Because I feel like you have like opinions that are wrong. If you if you're bad, you'll be like, oh wow, really crazy thing that person just did. Then of course, at like higher levels, that's just kind of standard.
Right.
Because like for example, I had an Esmo that I actually who used his like M2 and pulled me into his ult and was like, yeah, you like that? You like that crazy stuff? And it's like, well, I mean, yeah, that is a confirm that most Esmos do. Good for
Yep.
you. Okay, so we'll move on to the second question before I go off on another on a tangent that's too far off. So the next question is by someone whose name I can actually pronounce, Max Holes, and he's asking, what's your favorite thing to do and why?
That's a great username. First of all,
I
Max
know,
Holes.
I
I like
agree.
it. I have a lot of stuff that I really like to do. I like to go to concerts. I really enjoy going to concerts, having a couple of drinks with friends, and balling out of control in the crowd, doing some moshing and stuff like that. I always found that really fun. I also really enjoy running. Physical activity as a whole is something that I gain a lot of like happiness and clarity of mind from. I feel it helps me think a lot better, and which makes me very happy because clarity of mind is nice to have. But lately, I haven't been able to run since I injured my hip when training for a marathon. So I've been spending a lot of my time playing Battlerite as kind of a filler. So I would say the most common thing I do that I really like to do is play Battlerite.
Yeah, I think that kind of like is the common ground for hopefully a lot, a lot of the top players and just people in the community because that's something we can all relate to. Is at the end of the day, even when we're yelling at each other for missing an ult or hitting the counter, we're all still playing Valorant, and it
Yeah,
is a good common ground. And so yeah,
it's why we're all here.
yeah, that's why everyone's here, and that's why me and you are having this conversation right now. I hope. Yeah, what kind of music do you listen to, if I may?
Uh, I like I like a lot of stuff. So the like a year ago, my answer would have exclusively been like pop music
Oh,
and pretty
nice.
heavy progressive metal.
Uh-huh.
But as of late, I've been listening to a lot of hip hop too.
hmm
For example, Tyler the Creator's newest album is something I really enjoy.
Right.
Flower Boy, I think it's called.
hmm
But yeah, really good album, and I like it a lot.
Cool. I don't really follow hip hop music at all, but so I can't necessarily continue on that. Um, but yeah, just who doesn't love moshing and running? You're just running from you're training your legs so that you can run from the police after you have murdered someone in the mosh pit.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the more you know. Uh, okay, so the next question is from Avin, and he says that, or rather, he would like to know, how did you become a commentator, and is it enjoyable? I hope it's enjoyable, but
So the story of how I became a commentator kind of harkens back to my heydays as a player. Back during the Battle Rec series in like last November, December, and January, I became close friends with the two commentators for that event, Rainiest Stay and Findable Carpet, two incredibly skilled commentators, like very good at their craft. And when I watched their casts, I wanted to be a part of it because I liked the energy they brought and all of that. So after the tournaments, I would like spend a little bit of time talking to them, and like week after week, I'd hit them up, being like, "Hey, if you guys ever need a guest commentator or something, or you're looking for somebody to come in and talk about the game, I would be more than willing to." So I did a little bit of networking with them, reached out, kind of made friends, and eventually, I believe in like the sixth month. I
Hmm.
forget which month it was, like August or something.
Right.
No, a little bit before that. Anyways, earlier this year, they ended up needing a commentator, and they reached out to me. They were like, "Hey, do you want to come down here and cast Battlerite for a week? We know you want to do some commentating." And so I went and I flew down to California to cast with them. And right after that, I was contacted by PRL's own Jeremy Bearson. He asked me if I wanted, or I asked him if I could come in and cast and start working with PRL, and he happily obliged, and that's kind of how I got where I am now. Kind of reaching out to people, asking if I could be a part of what they were doing, and showing interest in the game.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of also how I mean I know like you kind of already answered that question a little bit when with the first question and talking about who you were, as your top player, and then moving on to commentating. So good job elaborating further on that. I realized as I read the question, I was like, oh yeah, kind of answered that a little bit, but yeah, good. And yeah, like I feel similar thing with me. I'm first of all, I could never be a commentator because I trip over my words and I'm horrible at speaking, and especially in the moment, I would just kind of go off on a tangent. And that would be that, and there would be no more commentating. So I'd get fired within the first week, uh, guaranteed. Wouldn't even get hired. Do the first interview and then just get the head shake, like nah, get out of here. um, yeah, but I don't even know how I ended up here. It's just a lot of shit posting, and that just kind of turned into here we are. People recognized me, and I did here you go, new people do that, and hi.
Nice.
uh, yeah, and so the next question, I'm really looking forward to like hearing the story about this, right? Like, cause I know you and I know Crooks, but I don't know how you guys met. So
Right.
Lenkek wants to know, how did you and Crooks meet, and then it's a love story that he really wants to know about, and I agree. Like I really want. This is the question I want to know like the most about.
The Crooks and the ITF love story is kind of a funny one because at first I hated the dude's guts.
Of course, who didn't?
There are very few people that I dislike in the Battlerite scene, but
Hmm.
Crooks rubbed me the wrong way in solo queue, or not solo queue, but duo queue matchmaking. I would constantly queue into him with Vorim, and he would like just generally be a troll and be rude. So I had a very bad impression of the guy. And then I eventually heard him cast for Chalt's Beast in the Pocket tournament, a smaller community run tournament. And even though the cast was really toxic and really memey, I recognized that he was incredibly good with his transitions and with elaborating on topics, and his like jokes were really funny, and I just generally really liked the way he talked. So I kind of reached out to him and like started talking to him a bit, and the more I got to know him, I actually really liked the dude. He has some rough edges, as most of us do, but overall, he's a pretty good dude, and he's really good at talking. So at that point, I kind of asked him to if he wanted to cast with me with PRL. At first, he was a little hesitant because he just didn't know about the scene and didn't know about how PRL functioned as a whole. But after a little bit of convincing, I got him to come in and cast with me, and it's been true love ever since.
That is actually so interesting. I honestly like. I think I had run into Crooks a few times before. Actually got to know him a little bit better, and I think the same thing, right? Where I was like, this guy,
Yeah,
just
he's kind of a troll, right?
yeah. But like once I got to know him, he's a really decent guy, and I'm really glad that you guys found love and all that, and I look forward to being invited to the wedding, and hopefully maybe even giving the ring to one of you to give to the other, and
You can be the ring bearer,
yeah,
break.
exactly, and maybe I'll even give Crooks away to you. I'll be Crooks' father for the day.
Nice.
But yeah, the whole like PRL thing is very interesting. So did Crooks like not? Was he not like a commentator? Because I mean, I honestly like you guys are my favorite like commentating pair, but I don't really know too much about the commentating scene for Battlerite.
Right.
So
So he didn't commentate beforehand.
right.
He kind of like gained his understanding of how to cast similarly to how I did, just watching esports for over a long period of time. Like he's been watching esports since like Brood War, I think, StarCraft. So like years upon years, he saw a lot of like how Artosis and Tasteless work together and stuff like that. And he's one of those people that just no matter what he's doing, he's very studious, as am I. So like when I'm watching a cast, I like kind of like take mental notes on like how people are doing things, so I can do it myself, or like see how I can better gauge how I want to do my kind of casting. So he kind of did a similar thing just by being around esports for so long. He through osmosis he kind of picked up an understanding of how to cast.
Of course. All right, yeah, that's interesting because it's like the whole how do you learn how to do this stuff, and I guess the answer, like you said, is just kind of watch and
Yeah,
hope
just
you,
being around it.
yeah, just expose yourself until you fake it until you make it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our next question is from Barnufis. Probably wrong, but oops. And he wants to know what do you think are the biggest pros and cons of the recent switch to free to play, and then how can the new player base be maintained?
So I think the switching to free to play is entirely a pro. I don't think there's many downsides to it
Hmm.
that I can think of off the top of my head. If any, it would be maybe like with the influx of new players, there's bound to be more toxic players. But I mean, that's a kind of thing that'll be around on the internet no matter what. But what is really nice is having a big player base and having a bigger group of people around that enjoy the game as much as we do. It's very cool. Like when you put so much time into something to see it grow is very fulfilling and like very exciting. As to how the player base can be maintained, I think it has a lot to do with the patches, which SLS is doing a great job pumping out.
I agree.
Like yesterday, we just got the prehistoric patch with
Mhm.
a ton of really cool cosmetics and some minor balance changes. I think if they keep that up every couple weeks as they have been, then we're bound to like maintain a similar player count to as we kind of like as we have.
Right, right, and I hope, like, of course, it'd be a little bit too optimistic to say that we're gonna hold the same like peak that we had. Although, I mean, who knows, right? But one can hope that we'll continue to grow, and hopefully we'll never go like back to the pre free to play amount of people, and even the peak of pre free to play is like not even like a quarter of what we average now, which is awesome, right? Because
Right?
queue
Yeah.
times and all that, but also yeah, also it's just cool to see all these people like talking about Battlerite and being interested in it. Like even on like the subreddit, there's so many more posts. Because it was like a sad thing to watch, right? The subreddit start to get less and less active as
Right.
the months went on. It was like a kind of a slow process, but noticeable. And watching streamers like start to get less and less people, and then move on to
Right.
different games and that kind of stuff. And now it's back, right? Like the subreddit
Yeah.
is lively, and the streams are breaking like 1,000 viewers, and that's really
Hmm.
cool, and it's just like awesome. And
Yeah, I agree completely. It's like it's very exciting when you see people you see these big numbers on streams that you used to watch where it used to be a sense of like existential dread seeing the numbers slowly dwindle, and now that they're spiking it's very exciting, and it's even bringing back a lot of old players, the influx of new players. So
mhm.
it's like the impact free to play has been massive.
Right, and it's like it's continuing, especially with the API being publicly released the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing that no one luckily asked questions about because I don't know anything about it, so I can't talk about that. But I think because we were taking questions before the API got dropped, so that's another topic. But it's just crazy because like now people I feel like are getting more motivation to do stuff for Battlerite also because they know that they're gonna get like the numbers on their websites and that kind of stuff where it's worth it, right? Because before
Right.
it maybe wasn't, there weren't enough people around to make a website because you weren't going to get enough advertisement or that kind of
Yep.
stuff, and people kind of I guess felt a little bit lost maybe in terms of making stuff. But now there's so much content and stuff being pushed out for Battlerite, and it's awesome, and it's just really cool like to see all these like new tournaments and stuff, like the other tournament that got announced the other day, like with the $3,000 pool is going to be a
Yeah.
cool thing because that's like a championship kind of thing where it's like you have to be good to get into it anyway, so
Uh-huh.
that'll
And
be
another cool thing about that is it's also a really big caster.
yeah.
Lysander was a big Dota caster.
Yeah.
Somebody that I actually knew from being a part of Dota back in the day. So to see another big name joining
Mhm.
the scene is very cool.
And he said that because I talked to him a little bit about it, and he said that you're going to be casting that also, right?
Yeah, I'll be working with Lysander, and together we'll be putting on a broadcast for his event. It'll be very exciting.
Right. I actually forgot about that until you mentioned that, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You are.
Yeah.
You're in charge of that kind of, or at least the talking part, which is
Mhm.
as we've said, your part. Yeah, and I just excited like for all this content. Like, every day I go on there and I see all this more stuff. It's lovely. But but yeah. So the next question comes from Squid, sociable Squid, good old Squid,
Good old squid.
and uh, and he would like to know. Well, surprisingly good question, actually. Good job, Squid. I'm proud of you. Um, he wants to know: does it get mentally exhausting having to pay close attention to every round of every game, and how do you cope with that if it does?
Uh, it honestly does after a while. Having to like pay really close attention. Once you're paying attention to like these really minor details for so long, inevitably like your eyes and your mind just start to get a little dull. You start to like miss a couple things, and it starts to feel a little sloppy. And I'm still learning how to cope with that. It's still very difficult for me.
Hmm.
But my best coping mechanism that I've found so far is copious amounts of caffeine. I consume so much caffeine throughout the duration of a cast.
Oh,
I could
oh
you could
no.
probably put down a horse with the amount of caffeine I consume.
That's probably not too healthy, but you know what? It's
Dude,
entertaining.
worth it, man, worth it. But yeah, like luckily it doesn't get too mentally exhausting because I used to be a player, so I'm used to being in
Hmm.
these like long drawn out situations where you're in a tournament for 4 or 5 hours and you got to be paying really close attention to everything. Especially since I was like the captain on my team,
Right.
it was especially true. So it's nothing too new, but it can still be hard to deal with sometimes.
Yeah, and I was actually surprised the first Battlerite tournament I entered. I mean, of course I got eliminated pretty early, but I was surprised how long it took. Like, because
Yes.
you imagine, well, especially with certain other games, Battlerite is like a little bit, I guess, slower because it takes the teams have to talk about maps, bans, and all that kind of stuff. But games, like, even like Smash, I don't know if you follow that at all. The games, are just like not nonstop, all these different players, but you still have to imagine like these players are around for like 12-hour days and stuff, just because they're
Yeah.
even though their games are spaced apart, they're still like there and they're still practicing and they're still like preparing, and it's the same kind of thing where you still have to be like active and you have to stay warmed up, especially like if you have like a 6-hour gap between a game or something, which who knows, maybe one day in the future we'll have that where we have that level of competition where people have to take a lunch break or something, that would be cool. But
Yeah. Battle right land when
yeah, true, meet me on West.
beyond West.
So Sir Fates is asking from chat a while ago, which I meant to say, but I forgot to transition into this. He wants to know, do you actually earn enough to sustain yourself by commentating? And if not, why does Jeremy not give you a raise? Well, he didn't say that. That's me, but
Yeah, everybody petition Jeremy to give me a raise.
yeah.
No, I actually don't get paid for the vast majority of my work. I do it as a labor of love
Hmm.
because I really enjoy this game and I want to be around for the future of this game.
Right.
So I want to put in all the time I can now to secure that I get better and I get good enough at casting to be around because I really enjoy this game. I really enjoy the community and I just really want to be a part of it. So I don't find any harm in doing it for free as of now, especially while the scene's still growing. I don't really want to take a part of the money that could go to players. I think the people that deserve the money are more the players. You want to make them happy, so they stick around and keep playing the game too.
Right. And also, of course, you want to stick around so that once commentators do start making big money, you're number one on that list.
Yeah, I'm just putting in the groundwork,
Yeah,
putting in the groundwork to start things off.
just going to
And
college for
we'll
a
see
few
if it
years.
pays off later. If
Yeah.
it doesn't pay off later, it doesn't even matter. I'm having fun doing it,
You're getting your commentating degree.
Yeah, my commentating degree, yeah.
Yeah. So the next question is from Show Ronan, and he would like to know that although games aren't that long, the caster scene isn't that big, so you have to cover a lot of ground. How do you stay sane without a sore throat during a tournament? So this is kind of like similar to the last question,
Yeah.
except I guess more of like the mental aspect of how do you not die from all the caffeine and everything you're taking in. So
Right. So we touched on it a little bit. Caffeine consumption helps me a lot keep up my energy and stuff like that. As for being without a sore throat, I'm not actually new to this kind of talking. When I
Mhm.
was in high school, I was a regional competitive debater.
Ah.
So I would be in debate competitions for like 13, 14-hour days where I was talking the entirety of the day. So, Battlerite's actually kind of like a step down from that. I've never left a tournament and felt like I've had a sore throat or I've needed like a lozenge. Even after like the longest days, I'm like, I can still talk just fine. luckily, I think a lot of that has to do with age. I haven't worn down my vocal cords too much, and hopefully I don't wear them down. Hopefully things stay okay. But for now, the sore throat thing's not really been a problem for me.
That's interesting because I know like there have been times just when I've been running all over the place all day, doing whatever, and at the end of the day I've been like, wow, my voice is kind of like tired. So that's interesting that you say like that whole like debating competition because I've always wanted to like get into that when I was in high school and I just kind of never did because I'm definitely not organized enough to build a strong argument and everything. So that's just it's interesting to see like your background. And do you feel that has like an impact kind of on your ability to like commentate, and like get your point across maybe?
Absolutely. It's helped me debate as a whole when I was in high school helped me learn how to prioritize
Hmm.
what I want to be talking about in a sentence. It's made my understanding of like how to phrase
Hmm.
sentences much better and how to get messages across more clearly. So my debate pass definitely has a big influence on my casting ability. And I don't mean to say that as in like I'm an amazing caster and I do everything perfectly. I still have a lot to work on, a lot of things I can work on and fix in terms of phrasing. But it definitely has helped me get to where I am.
Yeah, that's a pretty good question. I'm glad that we got around to hear that because that's just like something that you I guess wouldn't even think about is that like something like debating would help like that. But now that you say it, it's like, oh yeah, that definitely would have an impact. Like it just wouldn't occur to me personally. I mean, maybe to you it would have occurred, but yeah, I never would have thought about something like that. Where even if you have like a public speaking class or something, that could also change that. And I know I have that problem where I oftentimes am not saying what I want to say. So, oops. I oftentimes am just kind of rambling on and hoping the right thing comes out eventually, as I'm sure everyone's seeing.
Talking's hard, dude. Talking's hard.
Yeah, it's really funny because like I'm the president of a club at my school, so you'd think that I would like know how to speak, but no, I just subject the poor members of my club to me talking it for half an hour and saying something that could be said in 2 minutes. So oops.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, you know what? It's not my problem. It's theirs. No.
Yeah, they're the ones that have to deal with it. Doesn't
But
matter to you.
yeah, I'm getting practice in. Okay, so so next question is from Telons 1128, who wants to know, in your view, what is the most different thing about commentating Battlerite compared to other games? And he provided League of Legends and Heroes of the Storm as examples, but I guess for you, Dota would be maybe a better example.
Right. They're all kind of similar games, MOBAs. I think the major difference is the amount of downtime. A lot of people like to compare Battlerite to a MOBA just because it's easy to do. Multiple characters in a small map trying to fight and
Hmm.
trying to kill the other team. But I think it's a much more I guess fair comparison to compare it to something like Smash Bros.
Right.
And I think the thing that sets it so far apart from LoL, HOTS, and Dota 2 is that there's no downtime. There's almost no downtime in between team fights. They're ongoing, so it can be pretty tricky to kind of toss things back and forth between your co-commentator.
Right.
And I think that's the most different thing, and also the most difficult thing about Battlerite: the amount of downtime and how you manage that with your co-caster.
Yeah, that is interesting because I don't mean I personally don't really watch any comment like any of those esports other than like I said Smash Bros. So I feel like I don't like ever get to witness that downtime and stuff because I don't really play those games, so I'm not really
Right.
interested in that kind of stuff. That's a good point. And like I mean like I was saying that even though between the matches there's some downtime, you're not having downtime. You still have to fill that like empty airspace, and that's even like more difficult because then you don't have a game to be talking about. And in games such as Smash Bros. Again, I'll use that as like an example for the 50th time. There's only like a minute or so between games, whereas this, it's like you have to fill that empty space. And I know that is something that you guys are trying to improve on and everything, and it's mostly not like the fault of PRL or the
Right. Right.
commentators. It's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, the way me and Crooks have begun looking at it
Mhm.
is, since there's like no downtime in between the plays during the cast itself,
Mhm.
that's when the play-by-play gets all of their time. The
Right.
play-by-play gets all their time when they're commentating everything that's happening. The color analyst
Mhm.
gets a little bit of space here and there. He'll like give a sentence or two on like why things happen the way they did, but then it's the priority of the analyst in between games to talk about the teams and how they need to play and how the last match went and stuff. So you kind of like trade off time. In the downtime in between matches is when the analyst comes in and talks, and during the actual game is mainly the play-by-play talking.
That's interesting. I'm gonna be looking for that now. Next time you guys are commentating, I'm gonna see which one of you is talking when, and that's interesting because I feel like people don't really take that into consideration because commentating pairs are split. One person is like the hype man or whatever, or the play-by-play, and then the other person is the analyst. You're the analyst, right? I believe.
It changes off. I'm
Okay.
kind of like a jack of all trades, not to
Oh
toot
yeah.
my own
Oh
horn or
yeah. Yeah.
anything.
Of course.
But when I'm with TJ, I'll be the analyst,
Uh-huh.
since I have more game knowledge than TJ.
Hmm.
And when I am with Crooks, I do the play-by-play
Right.
because
Right.
he is better at giving analysis than I am.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look for that next time I watch you guys. So the next question is from Bloods9. He asked, "What do you think about bans in Masters of Bacon?" Which is
Oof.
yeah,
I like this is a very important question,
yeah.
very
This is
hot topic right now
this
for
is
a
the
lot of the
one
tournament organizers
I almost
and
forgot about this
players.
one.
Yeah, this is a big one. So the big deal, the thing I like most about bans is that it makes games more interesting.
Hmm.
As somebody that used to play competitively, I have an understanding of like, people want to protect the competitive integrity of the game and stuff like that. They don't want to. Jolts in particular has a problem with it because it makes the winning team have to adapt, and he doesn't feel that's fair.
Right.
However, I think the most important thing about bans is making games interesting.
Hmm.
You want to make the game interesting enough for the players to want to play and for people to want to watch. If you see comps being run back over and over again, it's going to make the game a little less interesting and people are going to feel a little less inclined to watch. Whereas if it's something new every game, it's more exciting. There's more for the casters to talk about, and it becomes a more what's the word? Involved esport,
Right.
I guess. It kind of makes the viewers more interested in what's happening,
Right.
rather than just a blank. This is the same thing happening again. We're repeating our analysis,
Hmm.
and I think it's very important to keep in mind those things, the things that are outside of competitive integrity, such as like fun and viewer experience and things like that.
Hmm.
Because competitive integrity, it matters a lot. But even then, I don't think bans harm it that much. So it's like a cost benefit analysis. It's like, is it worth making the game significantly better to watch if you make it a little bit less fair for the winner? And I think the cost benefit analysis goes to the side of like it's worth it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it's like very interesting, like you said, at least from the commentator's perspective, because you don't want to be, I'm assuming, you don't want to be doing the same like analysis every week, because there was that period when
Where it's Shifu serious every
yeah,
game.
yeah, every
Yeah, and
game, and I'm sure that's just not fun for you, and it's not fun to watch that because it's like, oh, it's the same stuff.
right. And I think that's another important point. Balance issues.
Hmm.
A lot of people say you don't need bans in a balanced system,
Right,
but I think imbalance is inevitable in a game like this.
of
Dota
course.
2, one of the most balanced games like in esports, even has 3 bans before the first picking phase, and then 3 more additionally later on in the draft. So like inevitably in this comp-based game, there are going to be imbalanced things such as Paloma Varesh or
Hmm.
Shifu Sirius during those respective patches. And I think having one ban is a nice solution to the inevitable imbalance that comes with a game like this.
Yeah, and so I guess that kind of leads me to more of like my question, which is, do you think 2v2 or 3v3 is more balanced, and which do you prefer to commentate more?
I think 3v3 is a more balanced game mode because that's what they kind of look at.
Hmm.
SLS looks at when they are checking balance and things
Right.
they need to fix. I've never actually casted 2v2, so I'm not sure what that would be like. But from a personal perspective, I actually enjoy playing 2v2 significantly more. I'm one of the few players that are up there that has that opinion. I just like how much more like tight 2v2 is. 3v3 can get kind of messy.
Hmm.
2v2 feels very like planned out, and there's something that like intuitively feels right to me playing with just one other person.
Yeah, I agree. It is interesting because you do like have a plan going into 2v2, which is why some comps are so good, is because they can execute that plan so consistently and so well, and that's the problem. Is that, for example, like Jade Croak, like the
Yeah,
stun
back in the
snipe.
heyday.
Yeah, back when that was crazy. You just like the stun combos you could get off, and like the guaranteed snipes and all that fun stuff, which is like it's such a not like easy to execute, but like once you get it down, you can do it so consistently that it becomes a problem.
Right.
And in 3v3, I feel that's a little bit trickier to do because there is one more person where you can't just like in-cap or petrify one person. You have to in-cap or petrify both. I guess it doesn't really apply to Jade Croak, but actually, yeah, in-cap. But yeah, so
No, yeah, you're absolutely right.
yeah.
The addition of the extra person makes things like that much less like insane and
Mhm.
much less common, which is good for the state of balance.
Yeah. So next question. This is like our last like serious-ish question. Then we're moving on to the more like
Sick.
fun questions, I guess. Which I'm
I love the memes.
yeah, of course. Who doesn't? And it's by Ollie the Brave / Emperor, and he wants to
Ooh.
know how do you stay so positive, and how do you stay the nicest person to bless the Battlerite community?
Emperor's too nice, man.
Yeah, I agree. You're definitely not. No,
Yeah.
okay.
I used to play with Emperor back
Mhm.
in Team RMS and Team Identity Crisis when
Yep.
we were sponsored. And I always tried to keep an incredibly friendly atmosphere in the team because people are playing video games to have fun. We
Right.
all are here because we want to enjoy ourselves, and I believe it sets people up to play their best when they are feeling confident in themselves and when they're really feeling their own play. So like, I, and it's just more fun for everybody. Like I'm here to have a good time, to make people happy, to make friends playing this game, and also to try to win. But at the end of the day, having fun was my major goal. Of course, winning is fun, but creating a tight knit group of friends is more satisfying to me as an individual. So, and I also just think positivity is like a better way to get to the end goal of like supporting people around you to play their best. If you tell somebody that like they did this amazing combo, they're going to feel much more better about them or much better about themselves, and they're going to feel much better about their play.
Mhm.
So it's kind of just like it's the classic strategy of telling your teammates they're amazing so they continue to play good.
Yeah, of course. And I
And
mean,
it's just really
sorry.
and it's just really satisfying for me to like make people happy.
Oh wow, that's cute. What was gonna say is that like, I know personally sometimes it's like it's really hard to not be like, oh you you person,
Yeah.
how dare you, how
Yep.
dare you be so bad. But then again, I kind of just like stop and think like, well, I don't like hearing it in solo queue and or especially not like when you're playing in twos or threes with someone. It's like, come on, I thought you were my friend.
Yeah, exactly.
How dare you?
It feels really bad when stuff like that happens.
But then at the same time, like I feel like I kind of deserve to be smacked around a little bit sometimes when I play Parley. But I kind of try to bite my tongue when I'm playing in solo queue and that kind of situation because I don't want people to feel bad. And like you said, I don't want them to play poorly because of something I said. And I feel like when someone insults me or something in solo queue, I'm like, all right, screw you. Then I'm just not gonna. I'll just 1v2 them and then inevitably fail. But it becomes more of like a mind game, I guess, and instead of like a team game, you're just kind of putting your own teammate down, and that's not what you want. So,
Yep.
yeah, positivity is very important. Okay, so we'll move on to our fun questions here. So the first question is from Vinarian, and he would like to know, how are you so good looking?
This question, man. God damn it, Venarian. What a nice dude.
I personally don't know what you look like, but
I'm not nearly as handsome as he's making it sound, though I
you sure?
appreciate his sentiment. Yeah.
I believe from you better look like a god, or I'm gonna have to go down Venarian here.
The more fun thing about this question, I think, was the response to it. There was a
Mhm.
response on the Reddit thread that I'm so handsome because of the bald spot and the receding hairline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy got me good. But I guess thank my parents if you think I'm good looking.
All
They
right.
must have given me the good genes.
Well, good, lucky you then. Do you have any ugly siblings?
No, I think we're all right.
All right. Are you just
We're
saying
all
that?
solid fives.
All right, all right. I'd rather have me and my siblings be fives than me be a 10 and them be a 1 because I know if I then I know like if I was born on the other side of the coin, I would have been the 1. So
Yeah.
so okay, moving on. The next question is by my name is Fates, who I guess is Sir Fates, but maybe not. I don't know. And he would like to know, how do you like Jade after the visual update? Now that she has a bigger personality.
Oh man, yeah, I love Jade's personalities. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I love both personalities that she has.
Yeah, they're great. But no, I actually really enjoy the visual updates as a whole. To kind of turn a meme
Mhm.
question into a serious topic, the visual changes that came after the last couple updates to all of the characters like Freya, Jade, Shifu,
Mhm.
they all look really good.
I
I think
agree.
the game looks very, very nice, much better than it did in early access. So I'm very happy with the way Sunlock Studios is taking it visually. I think it's a very nice looking game.
Yeah, especially recently with all these cosmetics and stuff that we've gotten, and the event that we got. It's just like all these awesome cosmetics and stuff. Especially my favorite personally. I don't really play Sirius much anymore. I used to play him a lot back when grades were a thing. But I love the
Mhm.
the new weapon he has, where it's like the
Oh
colored.
yeah, the toy.
It's hilarious. I love it. And of
Yeah,
course the croak dab is a classic.
yeah, I've gotta love it, dude.
Gotta
Really
dab on
nice
them haters.
cosmetics.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like the way they're heading. Personally, like not to put SLS art team down. I really love all of it. The only one who I'm not the biggest fan of is the Pearl reskin. Um, I don't know. I just I don't know. It's just my personal preference. Although I love like all the other ones, so that's not to of course put them down. Big fan of the other ones. So the next question is from Two Lanes, and he wants to know how many times have you remembered that Jade used to have an immaterial and then sobbed uncontrollably?
Oh, so many, dude. That was my jam back in the day. Give me that Jade EXQ material back. That
Yeah,
was back when I was on a successful team when my character was broken. Feels good, man.
maybe that's why. No,
I maybe, man. Who knows?
we
We
found
found the way how to abuse the
yeah,
character.
we found
But
the key to the kingdom.
yeah. I do miss that ability though. It was so incredibly unbalanced. I'm glad to see it has gone.
Y-
It things like that in Battlerite really have no place where you can just like have an uninteractive ability for 2 full seconds where your enemies can't touch you.
Mm.
It was pretty broken and it needed the change. Back in the day, I wouldn't have agreed with that
Mm.
sentiment, but kind of hindsight's 2020, and it was a good change for them to get rid of it.
Yeah, and like I said, I used to play Sirius. Similar thing with him, where his you used to be able to take the battle right, where his R would fully recharge the weapon.
Oh God.
That was yeah. Oh God, that's
Oh
all. That's
God.
all to say about that. Next question. So Leo Wee wants to know: do you try to speak fast because your name is InTheFlesh?
Exactly, dude. I gotta keep up with the meme.
All right,
Gotta
next.
go
No.
fast.
Are you a Destiny main now?
Oh no, no way.
I was so surprised when she said gotta go fast. I was
Dude, me too. I was like, whoa, Destiny's a memer.
Destiny. You mean SLS?
Yeah, SLS. Well, we
Can
already knew they were memers, dude.
yeah
They had the dab.
yeah. We gotta. I want Destiny to get the dab. She's gotta. She's gotta get like all the meme like put into one. Just have a champion name her like meme. Why
Yeah,
bother to disguise it?
we need a meme champion. Agreed.
I mean like we've got like a lot of meme champions, but yeah, just the meme incarnate, like just attacks that are memes.
Mm.
Just that boy is the ultimate, and who knows?
You get on a unicycle and run over your
Yeah,
enemy.
yeah, it's the Destiny ult, but you're on a unicycle.
Easy.
And then your M2 is a dab where you dab on the haters and stun them
Dude, yeah.
because they're so
Your
stunned.
your arm becomes a hitbox.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
A real fighting game where your arms are hitboxes instead of weapons. God.
Nice.
So Goomba Death wants to know how quickly can you speak? I don't know if you don't have to give us an example, but
No, I'm not gonna give an example here. But back when I was in high school, we were trained to speak really quickly, and I think when I was timed last, I think I was around like 275 words per minute or something, somewhere in between the 250 and 300 range when I'm trying to speak my quickest.
wow.
And I think average is around like 160. So I can speak pretty quickly, though it doesn't shine as much in casts
Mhm.
because it's kind of hard to like. It's harder to just analyze a play as it's happening and speak about it quickly than it is to just read something off of a piece of paper quickly.
Right,
So
of
in
course.
casts, I probably speak around like 230, maybe 240.
I'll be honest with you. I don't really know how. Like, I'm sure that's quick. I don't
It's
know
hard to gauge that, right?
what's the what the hell is the average
The
words
average
per
is
minute?
like 160,
Oh,
170,
okay. All
180.
right. Wow, that's fast then. I guess I don't know. Like if you told me how many words per minute you typed, I could tell you if that was good or not. But
Dude,
personally,
I
that's the thing I pride myself on is my words per minute for typing. I was like, wow, good for me.
I'm
But
so slow at typing, dude. I can only type like 70 or 80 words per minute at my best. I'm so sloppy too. I press the wrong button all the time.
I'm so mad because I got a new keyboard and I can't type. Like I'll go to type like that and then type what, and I was like, how did I hit the W key instead of the T key? They're not even close. I like
Nice.
my accuracy is probably destroyed, but I think because I did like the words per minute whatever test, and I was able to get like 125 or something. I think was what I did. So I was pretty proud of myself for that. You know, my typing teacher might be proud, but
It's pretty fast, dude.
yeah, you know what? She could type 70 words per minute. I remember that. I remember that's like drilled into there forever. I was always like, I gotta beat 70 words per minute, and so I guess I did.
Look at you now.
Now she'd be so proud. Okay, next question is by Jonah379. You know who?
What's up, combo?
Yeah, he wants to know Blue Eyes White Dragon or Red Eyes Black Dragon and why.
This is a tough one, dude, because, you know, I don't want to be Kaiba. I don't like Kaiba.
Of course,
His personality is lame.
he's a bad
but,
boy.
like, Blue Eyes White Dragon, dude, that's 3K attack points. It's massive.
Of course,
I-
I don't follow Yu-Gi-Oh much, but yeah, continue.
Yeah. Yeah, blue. I have to go with the Blue Eyes because it got that big beater.
Mm-hmm.
That big Blue Eyes White Dragon.
All right, you love the girls with blue eyes.
Exactly.
Um, yeah, Combo's more of the bad guy. I'd put you as like a Yugi.
Nice.
Combo's definitely the bad guy.
Self-esteem up.
Yeah, of course. Just like your life points. Got him. Yu-Gi-Oh!
You did it, dude. You made the Yu-Gi-Oh reference.
Wow, look at me. I'm ready for commentating now. I can do those sick references.
Yu-Gi-Oh commentator in the works here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Throw me in the tournaments. I also know that the meta is like one-turn KOs, which is because I have a friend who plays and he used to complain about that, and he's like, I don't want to run it, but I have to.
Yeah, I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh competitively actually, maybe like 5 or 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And once the game started getting like one-turn killy, I started to lose interest. The game's getting pretty degenerate. So yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got. I
Yep.
can't tell you any more about Yu-Gi-Oh than that. So next question is by Sad Twig, and he wants to know who is your favorite Battlerite meme content producer / influencer.
The first one that comes to mind is obviously Two Lanes, right?
Right,
So
of
I
course.
think Two Lanes, yeah.
He's like your intro to Battlerite memes.
Yeah, exactly. And he actually has a pretty good couple of videos that he
Mhm.
just put up about introductions to Battlerite and things like that.
Yeah, I won't
And
say.
he's a super nice dude, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've talked to him my fair bit. Yeah, see, he's pretty nice. I've asked him to do things, and he's been pretty. Like okay. Like way back, I was gonna do like a video series, I guess similar to this now, except now I'm doing it more successfully, maybe. So I got Finlev, right, and then Finlev and I did that, and then I realized like, oh crap, I'm so bad at editing videos, and plus my microphone quality was like my laptop's default microphone, so so it was bad, and never quite made it to week 2. So although Two Lanes did fully agree, even after I was like, you sure? Like here's week 1.
Nice guy, Two Lanes. Not gonna give up on a project.
He's not gonna give up on me, and of course he also started the whole Thorn meme, and who knows, maybe he is the reason.
Yeah, dude.
Thorn
Maybe
came
this
when
was
he did.
Two Lanes doing.
Yeah, like Two Lanes is the reason Battlerite is successful, more or less. So good for him. Give him some money, SLS.
Pay that man.
Yeah, pay him more than you pay InTheFlesh. PRL. You wouldn't have your PRL tournaments if not for Two Lanes. So technically, he's in charge of that. He's in charge of PRL and everything else Battlerite related. So.
Yeah, Two Lanes should probably just run Battlerite since he's why it's successful.
Of course. I had like a conspiracy theory on that a while ago. I forget all the logic behind it, but basically what it was yeah, Two Lanes is SLS. So
Whoa.
yeah, it's pretty woke.
Woke.
I think I agree with you though. Like when you think of like the memes, it's definitely Two Lanes, and he was like the first guy I watched when I was first getting into Battlerite because I actually found out about Battlerite through another YouTuber, Northern Lion. I don't know. That's not related to Battlerite. He's like a Binding of Isaac guy, but he did like like let's look at kind of thing for Battlerite, and so that's where I found out about Battlerite, and then I looked up Battlerite, and this was like back in September when the game first, like one of the first, or I think right before it became like early access.
Uh-huh.
And so I waited like a few days because I didn't really know much about it, and then or whenever the video went live, and then I found 2 lanes, and I was like, okay, I'll get this game, and like now I'm 900 hours of gameplay later.
Dude, nice.
Still hate this game though. This is the worst game ever. I'm only gonna play 900 hours of it. That's the funniest thing about people who are like, man, Battlerite sucks, and it's like, yeah, but you still have 2,000 hours of the game played, so does it really?
Yeah, definitely worth the money, even if you get unhappy with it from time to time.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, like I've bought like gems and stuff, but listen, I've definitely gotten my money's worth, so
Worth it.
definitely worth it. And so our last question that I have lined up here is from Northfin, and he would like to know, or this is a little phrase a little weird, so I'm gonna read the question, and then you and I can figure out what he's asking. So I think it's a good question. I just don't know how to rephrase it, I guess. So he says, I would like to work for your employer. Will you grow out an esports department in the near future? So I don't know if he's asking.
I think he's talking about like PRL or something.
Right. So I think the first part of the question is he wants to know how to like apply to PRL, and then the second part of the question is, will PRL ever get an esports team? Maybe I don't know.
Well, I'm sure PRL will be around for the foreseeable future of
Mhm.
Battlerite. And if you really want to get in contact with them and start to work with them, I think the best way to do that is to get into their Discord server
Mhm.
and contact some of the moderators or even the head of PRL Battlerite, Jeremy Bearson, and
Yep.
just be like, hey, what's up? I know they're always looking for people that want to be involved in the tournament scene, and I think he'd be more than willing to take a look and chat with you about it if you want to be involved. We're always looking for cool people that love Battlerite as much as we do.
Yeah, every week when he posts the tournament, sign up for PRL and stuff. There's a link there to apply to PRL for whatever you want to be. If you want to be a commentator, or if you want to be like the more technical side, or any of that, because yeah, it's not just commentating too, or it's not, there's more than just like playing Battlerite and talking about Battlerite. There's all this other stuff, like especially with the API out. You can run a website, you can compile videos of people who are good at the game. You can really whatever you want. I'm not going to give away too many good ideas here. Run a tournament. I don't want to.
Just do stuff, get involved.
Yeah, just do whatever that you think might be a good idea, and who knows, because it might be a good idea, and you would be shocked.
Who knows, man.
Okay, so I'll take a question from Twitch chat now by Vexation. He he wants to know, do you ever regret abandoning Vexation and Vareem in the tournament scene to pursue casting instead? Do you think you would still have done that if you were still playing with Emperor?
Hey Vex, first and foremost, nice guy Vex in the chat, really cool dude. I think that my switch to casting was inevitable. Even back before Enter the Arena, when I was in my heyday, I was letting Findable Carpet and Rainiest Day know that I wanted to cast.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, this was a switch that was always very intuitive and just made sense for me. Of course, it did kind of push me more in that direction when I stopped having success, though I don't think that's the fault of anybody on my team except for myself. I think I got significantly worse the more the game went on. And because after playing so much and grinding so hard and like thinking so much about the game, you kind of burn out. And so I lost a little bit of that spark. So naturally, my results went down. And then the easiest thing for me to do was to just make that change. And it's a change that I've never looked back on and been like, I made the wrong choice. I'm very happy I did what I did, because even if it kind of like might have made my teammates a little sad, and I definitely miss playing with them, it's just a better fit for me.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad that you have a happy ending here.
Yeah.
As we spoke about before, with you and Crooks getting married soon, so just so you know, and exclusive to this little thing here, there will be a link to to the marriage, to the wedding. Sorry, not the marriage.
Yeah, you can we'll give you an address to send your wedding gifts to.
Yeah. You're not invited, but you can give them gifts, just so you know.
Yeah, just give us things.
Honestly, I'm not even invited. I was just like interjecting myself there, like, oh, hey, you're gonna invite me, right, InTheFlesh? Right, we're good friends, right? Yeah, it's a funny joke that you're gonna be the ring bearer. Not even getting invited.
Damn.
uh,
That self savagery.
yeah, honestly, yeah. I don't even know if Crooks is invited.
Yeah, no, it's
It
just me at my wedding.
Yeah, in the
Just me.
flesh is an exclusive dude. He's not even inviting his own parents. Okay. So Jeremy wants to know, what does findable carpet smell like? Because that's right, you met them in person.
Yes, I got to go down and hang out with them multiple times
Hmm.
actually. Very cool guys. I did luckily I didn't smell anything horrible. They were all kind of inoffensive in terms of scent.
That's too bad.
But the one thing that did surprise me about Findable Carpet is that he's much shorter than I expected. You
Really?
know, he has that huge beard,
Hmm.
so it kind of like gives you the thought that he might be like super tall too. I don't know why I connect those two things, but I do. But yeah, he's like 5'8" or something. He was like shorter than me. I'm only 5'10". I was like, whoa.
Hmm. That's interesting because I mean, like, I'm around like 5'10". Also, that's funny because like you said, I would just imagine him to be like taller than me. The internet's
Yeah,
weird, dude.
yeah. The internet's a weird place, man. Rainiest day, however, it's like over 6 feet. He's very tall.
Yeah, I think I've seen pictures of him. That's just funny because like now I'm imagining like findable carpet shorter than me. It's weird. I,
Mind blown.
my mind, I'm like rattled. I can't like finish this now. We should be finishing like soonish. You know, we've got like 5 minutes left or so. So I maybe take like one or two more questions and then we'll wrap this up and then you can go to the channel and the Discord and answer what other questions people have talked about there and that I've missed. So I'll take like another question from the Discord by Max Delan, who his question is, do you feel anything's missing in the competitive scene, or if there's something you'd like to add? And then for example, bans, which we talked about.
Yeah, yeah. I would really like to add bans. I
Hmm.
think bans overall are something that's needed for the game.
Right.
Um, Other than that, I think the only thing that's missing is a lack of really, really, really high tier players in North America.
Hmm.
So of course we have like 5 to 10 players that are all incredibly good, but none of them can really stand a chance against overconfident.
Hmm.
And I think this is a problem that's really just solved with time.
Yep.
We just had the huge influx of players from free to play, and I think inevitably in that huge influx of players, there will be some of the people that were like Challenger in League of Legends or
Yeah.
like 7K in Dota 2
Hmm.
that just come in and kind of like shake things up a bit. And I think now we're just in this kind of like waiting period where the scene is going to change soon, but we kind of have to like get all the new players to catch up first.
Right. Yeah. And I meant to ask you that before, so I'm glad it came up now. Like with the whole free to play thing, that I am looking forward to seeing these tournaments with these new players. I entered a PRL like 2 or 3 weeks ago or something, and we met a team in like losers bracket who were like, what like rank are you guys? And we were like, oh, like diamond ish. And they're like, oh wow, like we're silver. Are we are we too low to enter these tournaments? And the answer to that question is like, yes.
No way. No, no way. Don't.
No,
No, you're
no, I'm
never too
kidding.
low
I'm
to
kidding.
enter.
Don't enter unless you're grand champion. No. No, the thing is, like, if more teams enter, then like I guess the minimum requirement, I guess, to do well is also lowered, right? Because if like a
Yeah.
bunch of gold teams enter, then if you're like a plat team, suddenly you're destroying all these teams, and you're like, oh damn.
And the thing that's most important about the whole like skill level for
Hmm.
entry is like um, all of like the diamond players and low champion players should definitely enter.
Right.
When I was just starting to play this game, in my very first tournaments, I was grade 12,
Hmm.
which is the equivalent of like a diamond player now.
Yep.
And even in my first tournaments, the first one was very rough. The first couple were very rough. But then, even when I was still grade 12, still diamond rank, I started getting second place in all of these events. Simply because it doesn't matter how mechanically skilled you are. If you end up finding a player you really jive with, and you give your best to playing with that player and improving together, you can become an incredibly good player that can place well in these tournaments. Like I said, even back in the day when I wasn't very good, I was still able to get very good with my teammate, and our team synergy propelled us far into the events, getting like second place, third place, like week after week.
Right.
So the most important thing is for the tier 2 players not to feel like they don't have a chance, because it's very easy for them, because the diamond players like play against people like Averse and they're like, wow, Averse is so much better than me, he can just destroy me, why would I enter this tournament?
Right.
But if you join and you keep playing and you have fun and you just give it your all, you guys can do well too.
Right. And I think that like part of the reason why Averse and like his teammates are doing so well and so like consistent and everything is because they play together a lot and they have built up
Yeah.
like a synergy with each other. And I'm assuming they enjoy playing in these tournaments, otherwise they wouldn't be. So, I mean,
Right.
they're like no different than people like just entering with their friends who are silver. They just happen to have a lot more practice together and happen to be of a slightly higher caliber. So, I mean, we'll all get there. Like when I first started playing Battlerite, back in September when it first came out of beta, I was like grade 6, bottom of grade 6, like zero, dead zero MMR for a while. I was really bad, and I mean now, like I said, I'm up to like a diamondish level. So you just gotta
Yep.
find that niche and find someone who you can play with and practice, and try to practice against people in like private matches. It's good to do scrims against people who are with their teammates, maybe, because the problem with like 2v2 and 3v3 ranked queue is that you're queuing into people who are oftentimes are lower than you or who are just going to slaughter you.
Right.
It's hard to find a good like balance there. So find people like, maybe who are your friends or maybe not, and who are a similar level, and just like compete against each other, because I mean that's how people get better, is by having those close matches.
Yep.
You don't want to get killed, and you don't want to kill anyone. It's just not fun. I mean, well,
Yeah. It's
I-
also important to recognize, in order to get better, sometimes you just gotta get shit on.
Yep.
Like you gotta get wrecked. You
Right.
gotta get 5-0'd. You gotta get 3-0'd. You
Mhm.
gotta have no chance in a round before you can learn how to beat the best.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things people have a hardest time with,
Mhm.
just like kind of dropping the ego and accepting that you're going to lose.
Right.
Like you are going to lose in any competitive game you involve yourself in, a lot. So like
Yes.
getting used to losing and becoming okay with it is very important.
Yeah, I definitely, that's very well said, because like and that goes back to how do you stay nice, and how do you just accept that. I mean, hey, you're getting better by losing. And it's something
Yep.
interesting that I don't personally do very often, is go back and watch your replays and maybe talk about what you think you could have done better, or
Yeah, certainly.
even if you're just talking to yourself or talking to your friend on Discord, like go in with your teammate and look at your replays and just say like, oh hey, I saw this like moment when you like used your space to go like try to finish off the Jumong, and Jumong had his space, and so he was able to punish you. But so watching replays is very important also to know.
Yes.
And you can pick up on these little things that you would never notice because it's just habit, and then you're also not really paying attention to your certain things when you're playing the game. So
Yep.
so yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the live section of this. So thank you for joining me and taking time out of your day, and thank you to everyone who is watching live in either Discord live now section or in Twitch. You guys are cool for sticking around. And one last thing, Jeremy Verson wants to know, he doesn't care how tall, of course, Findable Carpet is. He wants to know how he smells. So
I
figured.
did not notice if he smelled like fresh cut pine.
Okay.
Sorry, Jeremy.
'Cause
This
I'm
confusion,
curious
this
too.
wonder is going to have to continue.
Yes, I'm curious. Next time, whoever's out there or Findable Carpet, you can tell us how you smell. That would be very appreciated. Thank you. Anyway, so you can find InTheFlesh on Twitch and Twitter. There, it listed or shown in the little display of the interface. And then if you'd like to talk to InTheFlesh in the AMA Questions channel, you can follow the link also there. And yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I'll be here hanging
Mhm.
out. Maybe we can do some in-houses, stuff like that. Just
Oh yeah, that'd be
play
cool.
some video game, have a good time.
Yeah, some video game. Yeah. All right. So thank you for joining me. I'm not sure who we're gonna have next time. Who knows? We'll see. I think we're gonna try to get like a voice actor or something for Battlerite, so that should be cool. Maybe like a Thorn or Destiny actor. I think we are in contact with the Esma voice actor right now, so who knows?
That's cool.
Yeah, I know. It should be fun. I don't think I'm gonna be in charge of that one. But yeah. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah,
and,
thanks for having me, dude. It was a lot of fun answering these questions, and
Yes.
I'm still surprised that people are interested enough in me as a person
I
to
know.
ask these questions. It's a little humbling, honestly.
I definitely agree. I'm surprised. No offense. Like I'm just surprised
No,
that so
yeah.
many people ask questions and stuff. Like I wasn't sure at all how this was gonna turn out. So it is pretty good, and I'm glad this wasn't a total like disaster.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I guess that it concludes this live section, and you can find InTheFlesh there, and you can find him at AMA Questions. And thank you, and that will do for now.